All right, I'm gonna preface this saying that I don't know if I'm gonna post this. I mostly just want to get back into the practice of making videos again because it's been a little while, and I have wanted to return, but for multiple reasons, most of which are related to the shame of too much time passing and feeling guilt for being away and like not working on a craft that I said I wanted to work on and like getting over like the self-disappointment and shame spiral of it all. Anyways, I'm like rambling a little bit. I've released the shame of falling short of goals, and now that I have done that, I can actually sit down and try to do this right now. So the first thing that I want to talk about is lack mentalities. And it's about when your mindset is one of lack. It's one where you're just thinking about what's missing, you're thinking about what you're falling short on, you're thinking about like what could be better. And basically, in this mentality, because you're only focusing on the things that you don't have, it makes you feel a lot worse about your life, which is unsurprising. In contrast, if we enter a more abundant mindset or abundance mindset, then that's all about gratitude. It's all about putting your attention on the things that are going well and putting your attention on finding evidence for things being not so bad or things even being good or great. And this is where gratitude comes in, and where gratitude is so important in reshaping your life and how your thoughts move through your brain. During the times when it's been difficult for me to recognize the things that are going well and like give those things attention, give them the celebration that they need, my negative thinking and my lack mentality has sort of only prolonged itself, because the more that I felt that I was lacking, the more I saw evidence of lack in my life. Because that's how your brain works. Like your brain is all about noticing patterns. And if you are in a pattern of noticing all the things that are going wrong in your life, then you're just going to only notice those things, or like you're going to notice those things in like much more intensive ways than you would notice good things. And then maybe when those good things do happen, if you're already in that pattern of like the negative thinking, then when a good thing happens, then your brain is just going to be like, oh, well, that was a one-off, or I was lucky, or that's not going to happen again. And then you find all those ways to like diminish the good things. And in contrast, if we're living in a more abundant, gratitude heavy way of life, we're like, that doesn't mean that we're grateful all the time. It doesn't mean that we're like perfect at this and we're optimistic and positive all the time, because that's not always possible. That's not always achievable. That's not always realistic. But because our brain can be is like good at noticing patterns, then we can retrain it to be in a different pattern of thinking. And instead of a lack mentality, we can think of in a more abundant way of thinking, where you're kind of doing the same thing, but you're just making choices for what you notice and what you put your attention on. And that is when we look at the things that are good in our life. No matter who you are, I truly believe wherever you're at in life, there are things in your life that you can point to that are good. And obviously, like it's going to be different for everyone, but maybe the gratitude is just having a bed to sleep in at night. And maybe the gratitude is being able to shower, being able to eat. Like it can be so many different things. I also want to caveat and say that it's easy to do gratitude wrong. And I don't even want to like put this in a binary of like right and wrong, because like I guess there's really no like a right way to be grateful. But I guess what I do want to say is that like when expressing gratitude, it's very easy to get into like another shame loop around like, oh, like I should be grateful, and oh, now I feel bad about myself because I'm not feeling grateful. No, like that is a trap. And if anything, that sort of just keeps you in the lack mentality even more, because if you're trying to be grateful for things and then you feel like you're doing a bad job at it, then that's just continuing the cycle of negative thinking. And guess what? You can rewire your brain. It takes a lot of intentional effort, and I do think it is sort of like a lifelong process of just like continually choosing to make those choices, reminding yourself that you want to live that way, etc. But yeah, it's not anything to judge yourself for. Like, gratitude is not about self judgment. It's just about noticing nice things in your life. That's literally it. It is walking down the street and looking down and seeing a gorgeous flower and saying, wow, it's so cool that I live on a planet that has flowers. It is seeing a cherished friend or family member and saying, wow, I'm so glad this person is in my life. It's finding a TV show that you really love and saying, wow, I love this TV show. I'm so glad it was made. Like, I am telling you, gratitude can literally be anything. Like, it does not have to, there isn't a certain like parameter of what it's supposed to be. It's just about noticing the good in your life, no matter what it is. Like, it literally does not matter as long as you're noticing it. Because then we get to the repatterning. And once we start getting ourselves in the habit of noticing good things, then we just keep noticing good things. And then that uplifts us a lot. And then I don't know, it's like so hard to explain, but it's like sometimes like unexpected good things will start happening to you. And I think that a big reason for that is just like your frequency as a human being is just shooting up. And on a subconscious level, other people can sense that. As an example, I think that humans are very perceptive, just like overall, and obviously everyone has like differing levels of how perceptive they are, but in general, we can tell if a person is upset or if they're uncomfortable or if they're scared. Like, we can read facial cues and body cues and whatever, etc. Like, we do a lot of that on like a subconscious level. And so when you are in that alignment of like noticing a lot of good in your life, then like your body literally starts to show it. And like you may notice this, you may not, but maybe it's like the fact that usually you're walking kind of hunched and you start to realize like, oh, like I'm actually feeling kind of relaxed right now. It's your body relaxing, it's your way of speaking relaxing. So anyway, so just like you can notice when someone is scared or uncomfortable, you can also notice when someone's feeling pretty good about life, feeling more like positive about life, feeling like life is on their side, feeling like good things happen to them and they trust that good things will keep happening and they trust that they will keep noticing good things. And then there's also something very magnetic about that quality as well. I get excited when I meet people like that because I'm like, oh my God, yes, like you are just another person on this earth reminding me just like how good life can be when you notice really nice things and how like you just get in that habit and like life just opens up so much for you. And so yeah, in summation, if you want abundance in your life, if you feel like things are lacking in your life, there's a lot of things that you don't have that you really want, living in this abundant mentality is for you. And once you start living that way, once you have a lot of gratitude for all the beauty that you can witness in your life, an interesting thing starts to happen. Like, well, I would say like two main things happen that might be a little surprising to you. One of them will be that there will be certain things that you realize that you don't even want anymore. Once you're in that alignment of feeling a lot of gratitude for what's going on in your life and just noticing a lot of good things, there's going to be things that you before felt like you really, really wanted, you really, really needed. And then once you feel better in your life just overall, there might be certain things where you're like, you know what, actually, I don't need that to be happy. And or maybe I never even wanted that really, but just like thought that I did. So that's like one thing that happens. And then another thing that happens is that you do start to get to the things that you want, or you realize that you already have those things. And what I mean by that is obviously if you start to get the things that you didn't have, you get that. I don't need to explain that. But the other half of this is when you like realize you already have it, that's the prerequisite to like getting the things that you want. So an example of that would be if you're thinking about how you don't have like enough friends, and when you add that enough within a statement like that, that is like a lack mindset in action, because you're using a metric of like, what is enough friends? Like, what does that even mean? Like, everybody's going to have a different definition for that, and like can you even really like quantify friendship in that way? Personally, I don't think you can, but I mean, that's just me. But yeah, so in this example, if you're saying like, oh, I don't have enough friends, then are you really like taking the time to appreciate the connections that are already present in your life? Are you nurturing those connections? Are you like doing what you can to maintain them and grow them? What is there right now that you can like love even harder? And I feel like when we gear our attention in that way, like we also just only grow what we have, because then at that point it's like it's not this lack thing that isn't like working for us in life. It's more like a garden where you're tending to it, you're caring for it, and the care that you put in ends up blooming even more beautiful than you could have imagined. And I think like as a result of that, if you were in that lack mentality of like I don't have enough friends, but then you start to like treat the relationships that are present in your life as that garden that you are tending to lovingly, then like naturally more friends will start to come in your life. Like they literally will, because they're just going to see how you tend and how good of a friend you are. Friends want people to be good friends with. I mean, that's the point. It's like one of the most beautiful things in this world. So being a good friend like makes you get more friends. Like it just, I don't know. I didn't say that very eloquently, but you get what I mean. So that is just one example. But obviously there are a ton, and I could go through a lot more. But I've already been recording for a while, and I don't know. I guess I just want to see if this video even has legs. So we'll see. But if I do end up posting this, thank you so much for watching, and I hope that I will be back soon. All right, bye.